Hey there, everybody, and welcome back to SBRpicks.com. Holy cow, this NCAA tournament has seen some seriously shocking upsets. I mean, the East region is looking at just one top seeding left in this race, and it looks to me like we could have some potential Cinderella stories in our midst for the tournament. It's my pleasure to welcome expert analyst Dave Golikoff, who's here with us now to talk about these lower seed teams we might see go to the Final Four or even that championship game. Dave, thanks so much for being back with us today.
Thanks for having me.
All right, so Dave picked out one Cinderella from each region that has surprised us this season and could keep surprising odds lines in the games to come in the Sweet 16. Let's start it off with the South region first here. The UCLA Bruins, man, they've taken down SMU first, then UAB. Do you think this squad will keep it rolling in the Sweet 16 against Gonzaga, Dave? Hot or not?
I think UCLA keeps it going. I mean, they've been a fantastic Cinderella. They definitely were not expected to even get an invite to the ball, but the fairy godmother at AK Action Committee waved their magical wand and included UCLA in the field of 68. And UCLA has paid dividends. Now, they've been a bit lucky, let's be honest. They beat SMU on a last-second questionable goaltending call. Probably the right call, though. But still, the narrowest of narrow margins did that slip or fit. And then, of course, they didn't have to play Iowa State in the second round. They got to play a 14-seed UAB who upset Iowa State. So I think they caught a break there and had an easier matchup than expected. So now they go up against Gonzaga. I think this is trouble for them. The clock is probably going to strike midnight for UCLA.
All right, let's talk over the West region now, the Xavier Musketeers. Now, this team seems to have had a pretty easy road against 11th seed Ole Miss in the second round, and then 14th seed Georgia State in the third round. But now they're going to see number 2 seed Arizona here in the Sweet 16. What do you think about this one, Dave? Should we trust Xavier to do some damage in this round against the Wildcats?
I would say no. I think this is another team that's an impressive Cinderella. Had a pretty good run in their conference tournament until they lost to Villanova. Remember, they beat Butler, who was top 25, maybe Georgetown. And I think some might even say that moved, well, I don't know, maybe it's a bit extreme to say that moved Xavier off the bubble into the field. I mean, they're probably going to make it anyway, but they definitely helped themselves with seeding with that late season run and quality wins there. But let's take a look at what they've done. They beat an Ole Miss team that, some were saying should be in, some were saying maybe not. Ole Miss had to play their way into the tournament. So they beat Ole Miss relatively easy. Then they beat Georgia State. Now, Georgia State was another 14 seed that upset 3 seeds. So instead of Xavier having to face a tough Big 12 team in Baylor, Xavier kind of gets an easier break and faces Georgia State. But I think this is where this Cinderella, where their journey ends. They're facing a very tough Arizona team, and I don't think they're going much further than that.
All right, now let's move it on to this big Midwest region. We've got number 7 seed Wichita State here. They took care of Kansas, but now they'll have to face the huge offense of number 3 seed Notre Dame in the Sweet 16. How do you see the Shockers playing it out here in this round, Dave?
I think the Wichita State Shockers have been impressive this tournament. This is a team, remember, they're experienced. They were, 35-1 last year. Before losing to Kentucky, they were top 25. I think they were top 25 at times this year too. So this is a pretty good team, pretty experienced. We shouldn't be too shocked, pun intended, that they made it this far. I think even in our videos, the videos that we did with me, you, Jordan Sharp, and Peter Loshak, somebody talked about Wichita State being a problem for Kansas. And I think that they do go on one more round and get past Notre Dame. We saw Notre Dame have some troubles with Butler, a team that slowed things down, kind of made it a half-court game. Notre Dame says they can score on anyone. Well, they weren't able to score at will really against Butler, even against Northeastern. They only won by 4 against Eastern, only won by 3 against Butler. Didn't get to 70 points either time. This is not the explosive offense that we thought we'd see. I think Wichita State slows things down, gets the win here. But I don't think Wichita State gets past Kentucky. They couldn't beat Kentucky last year. Kentucky's better, Wichita State's worse. I think it might be a close game, but Kentucky is definitely the end of the road for Wichita State.
All right, so Wichita State making it into the Elite Eight, it sounds like. And finally, let's talk about my personal favorite Cinderella here, number 8 seed NC State. This is it's definitely the biggest upset we've seen of the tournament. They beat out number 1 seed Villanova in the round of 32. NC State Wolfpack, baby. Love seeing that. But now they face the Louisville Cardinals in the Sweet 16. What do you think about this Cinderella squad, Dave?
I think this is going to be a challenging matchup for them, but if they can beat Villanova, I think they can definitely beat Louisville and maybe even beat whoever comes out of the Oklahoma-Michigan State matchup. The Wolfpack have been excellent on the defensive glass, and I guess, I don't really want to say it, but I guess since that first half against LSU, this has been a pretty good team overall. I mean, my vision of that LSU win is more that LSU collapsed and NC State came back, but I guess there's two sides to every coin. So NC State has now played quality basketball, about as good as you can be for NC State, for 3 straight halves, and they've been pretty impressive at the defensive end in terms of rebounding. They're decent on the inside as well. I think Louisville, we all know their story. They played pretty well in Sweet 16s under Rick Pitino, or I should say Rick Pitino does well in Sweet 16s. It's an experienced team, but they're also short a very important player. If NC State plays their game, they should be able to get by here. And remember, this East region has been, thrown for a loop. There's no 2-seeded Virginia. The number 1 seed is out of the way. So if NC State can beat Louisville, they're only going to face a 3 or a 7 seed, Oklahoma or Michigan State, neither of which I don't think many people were high on. Actually, I know you were high on Oklahoma. So I think NC State has a shot to get to the Final Four. Of all these Cinderellas that we mentioned, I think they've got the best shot.
All right, then, I'm going to throw this one out at you, Dave. Of all these teams we've talked about, who do you see making it the farthest in the tournament?
I think it's pretty clear, NC State, for reasons mentioned. I just think that UCLA has done this round, Xavier has done this round. Wichita State gets past one more round, but I think NC State maybe even goes to the Final Four. They could be this year's Cinderella.
Okay, great. Love those picks, Dave. Thank you so much for hanging out with us today and offering your free picks.
All right, I'll talk to you soon.
All right, good luck on your NCAA tournament picks this week, everybody. And until next time, this is Megan Rochester for SBRpicks.com.